The Consumer Law Hour is brought to you by Farah and Farah.
Comments and opinions expressed on this radio program do not constitute legal advice and do not create an attorney-client relationship with you. If you have a legal problem, a formal consultation will be required outside of this radio program. Good afternoon, Jacksonville. You are listening to the Consumer Law Hour on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. Our lines are open at 855-765-1045. If you've got legal questions, our legal experts are waiting to take your call. My name is Scott Young. I'm here with Eddie Farah and Chuck Farah from the law firm of Farah and Farah, your legal experts, and they're waiting to talk to you. Fellas, what's going on?
Scott, how you doing today?
Living the dream. How's it going, guys?
Same here, man. Trying to keep up with you.
It's not that hard to do. I don't move real fast.
I don't know, man. You got a lot going on. I've been following you on Facebook, and I like what I'm seeing so far. So.
I am a man about town. I try to do my part for the cause.
Yeah, I need to start hanging around with you, man. Let me know. I have to hit you. I have to find you at Dos Gatos the next time.
Tuesday nights, I'm typically there doing a bingo gig, so come by, listen to some rock and roll. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, I'll stop by there. I'll be in our Tampa office this Tuesday, but I'll catch up with you the week after. What time should we get there?
I'm doing bingo there from 9 to 11. If you can identify the band, mark it on your bingo card, get the bingo, win the prizes. It's good times.
All right, man. I'll clean up. I'll show you how to play that game. But let's get into a couple of things. As we know, the storm's coming up the coast, and a lot of people are maybe, could be some wind damage, there could be some flooding and so forth. And our office, as you know, we're involved in these what we call first-party insurance claims, and these are claims dealing with your homeowner's insurance company when they fail to pay you what you should receive for your for your damage to your house. And we handle these cases on a contingency fee basis, so it's nothing out of your pocket. And in addition to that, the Florida statute provides that if you're able to secure additional benefits that the insurance company did not properly pay you, then they could be made to pay your attorney's fees and costs. So there's avenues. The Florida statute's very strong when it comes to homeowners' rights, especially in a hurricane type situation or storm damage. What's interesting is that there was a class action filed, I think it was last year, against some of the big homeowners insurance companies because they were undervaluing the labor cost. They had a computer program, so you'd call them and say, hey, I got this wind damage. I need to paint my house, or maybe my windows need to be replaced because the wind allowed some leaking to occur, and so there's work to be done. And so the insurance could come in, and these adjusters, they don't have, unlike the old days, the insurance adjusters now really rely on computer programs for everything. In the old days, insurance adjusters had authority. They could come out to a site, they could evaluate it, they were knowledgeable, and they had the authority to write you a check for what you needed to fix your home or repair your home. Now these guys are constrained by computer programs. So they come out to your home, they plug it into a computer, and they have no discretion. The insurance companies, again, are looking for ways to save money, and the way you save money is you take discretion away from the people that have control of the checkbook, and you limit what they can pay, and which they've done. So they have this computer program, and the class action is pending right now, and it talks about how they depreciated the labor costs. So you would go into you call an adjuster out, and he looks at the surveys the damage, he plugs it in, he goes, oh, it's going to cost to fix it. The labor's $10,000. Well, you hire a contractor, and he comes in as it's $20,000 because labor costs are high right now. Everybody knows. I know right before the pandemic, anybody who called the service person to the house, call the plumber, it's never $50. It's always $200-$300 if you're lucky. Electrician, probably more. So labor costs are high, and gas, fuel, benefit. There's a lot that goes into the cost of labor. So anyway, you got to be on the watch when it comes to that. If your house is hit or your business, if you want a free consultation, you can call us at 396-5555, and we have attorneys on staff that can help you. If you're not being properly taken care of. So.
And we are in the season of that, getting the first real taste of it for the 2020 hurricane season of anything coming our way in anticipation of IESIS.
Yeah. I mean, these adjusters, remember, it's not just your file that they're working on. They've got hundreds of files that they're working on. So they come out to your house after damage has been done, and they just see what meets the eye. They don't really, because they've got to move on to the next house, the next file, and, there's pressure to get things done. And, they don't really look at the detail or what the covered damage, so to speak. That's why when we handle these claims, we'll bring in an expert who will spend maybe a half a day going through the property trying to figure out, where the damage is. You may not be able, an adjuster may not be able to see that maybe the shingles have been, damaged to some extent because it doesn't meet the eye. But when you take a closer look, you can see where, there's water underneath the shingles and there is damage. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time and they spend on the case.
We had a case. It was interesting because I went out there to take a look at it, and the house looked perfectly fine. But the wind had blown sand against the paint. The house was a painted house, and you could see where the paint was damp. I mean, this is something I would have never seen. You couldn't see it, but the expert, the engineer who went out there, was able to show that the sand, the wind blown sand, damaged the paint on the house, and so they had to repaint the entire house. That was something that a typical homeowner. I mean, I didn't notice it. He noticed it. I mean, he noticed that the shingles were bent a little bit upwards. Looking from the house, looking on the ground, looking at the shingles, you would never know it. But getting on the roof and getting in the attic, which these people do, they're able to find this hidden damage. But hopefully you won't deal with that. But if you are, listen, we're ready to take on those cases.
Yeah, that fee shifting part of the statute that you referenced earlier is really big for the consumer because you don't have to come up with any retainer or anything like that to get a lawyer involved. And if you win, or like Eddie said, you just recover more than what they've offered, they'll pay the attorney's fee. The insurance company will.
Yeah. The other thing is, warranty claims. Our office is handling warranty claims. The reason I'm kind of bringing this up today, we always talk about personal injury, but we do other stuff at the office. We do Social Security, disability, workers' compensation, medical malpractice. Most of the stuff is, auto-related, truck-related, but slip and falls and things like that, injury-related. But, these first-party claims we just talked about, now these warranty claims, people, there's a great federal statute that protects consumers when it comes to warranties. People always think of lemon law, okay? Well, lemon law is really a state law. And what the lemon law allows you to do is just to get your money back, basically, if the car is a lemon. It's got to be a brand new car. It's very restrictive. You can't, it's not automatic on every vehicle. There's a process you got to go through. But under the federal law, the Magnuson Moss warranty, you have more rights than you do under the Florida lemon law statute. And what that means is, and that covers everything. It just doesn't cover vehicles. But if you have an RV, a boat, it covers ATVs, cars. So it covers all those vehicles. And recently we've been handling a lot of RV claims. People are buying RVs now because of what's going on. They got to do something on the weekend. So they're buying trailers and I don't blame them, I bought a trailer to pull my kayaks around. I know I'm getting there, But anyway, so if you've got a warranty issue, because a lot of and we're seeing it. And these are expensive. These RVs,
these are brand new.
They're brand new vehicles, and our RVs are, and they're not. This is not a $30,000 vehicle. No. You're into the six figures with these guys, right. And so it's like buying a house. And so you get an RV that's not working. It's a lemon. Then you have recourse, and so
the federal
Magnuson Moss Warranty Act,
that act
protects you against an RV, a boat. Boat sales are through the roof right now, and you're probably who knows? Some of these companies may be just slapping them together to get them on the market because people are buying boats, and like they never have. So
Yeah, everybody
again,
thinks a lemon law, but it's really the bigger picture is that federal Magnuson Moss Warranty Act that really gives you the protection.
that's where the power is. So again, that's something we do. If you want a free consult, you've purchased something and you've purchased it, and you need some help, call us. So
Yeah, we have
give you a free consultation on that.
our
too.
lawyer Josh Khalil's been doing this for many years, so he's very familiar with the Magnuson Moss Warranty Act, and he can look at it and tell you if you've got a claim there very easy, just with a quick consultation.
Yeah. Sometimes I go by his desk and I saw a case this week he resolved. It was very interesting. I didn't think there was anything to it, but he was able to find the warranty where they had warranted that the vehicle was, maintained and taken care of, and that it had no problems. But that's not. We found out it wasn't true. So he was able to make that dealer pay that money. So anyway, that's our talk on that. But what I'd like to get into right now, if we don't have a break coming up, is kind of, and it was an article that was in the Wall Street Journal. This is something we've talked about too in the past. It's it's how insurance companies figure out what your premium's going to be. In the old days, people like me remember back in the 80s, if they looked at how many miles you drove, what what kind of car you had, how many tickets you've gotten, things like that. Your age. If you're an older person, you probably got a better premium than if you're a kid. If you're a male or a female, that's what they looked at. Insurance companies looked at to determine your premium for your vehicle. Those kinds of factors. Well, things changed in the 90s, and the insurance companies started looking at, evaluating their risk, and they started looking at other factors. They started looking at not how many miles you drove or what kind of car or, how old you were or whatever, or how many tickets you've gotten. They started looking at your occupation and your credit history. To them, that was the way they could determine, how much to charge you for your car, because they figured if you were in a very responsible position, you were less apt to have an accident. If you had a good credit rating, you're probably more responsible. If you're paying your bills on time, you're a meticulous type person, and therefore you're going to probably stop at every stop sign, not run a red light, not speed, and all that. So
yet the reality is you can be completely meticulous and still be a knucklehead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right about that. Knuckleheads are a dime a dozen these days. I'm with you on there. So anyway, the three favorite occupations that the insurance companies loved and that they would really give you a break on the premiums, engineer, or they still do, and this is what I'm getting into, engineers, accountants, and dentists. They're the most favored. If you're an engineer, accountant, or a dentist, they get the best rates. So after George Floyd, what I'm getting into is now these consumer groups are coming in and claiming racial bias.
Yeah.
And you can see where they're coming from, because who's getting the best rates? The people that have the money get the best rates. To me, it's like,
That's interesting.
Just because I've had some rough times. If you look at people who file bankruptcy, people don't file bankruptcy because they're living the life of leisure and running up. They're filing bankruptcy because of unpaid medical bills. Most of the bankruptcies are caused by unpaid medical bills.
Some catastrophic event.
Yeah, somebody gets them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it's not like people are out there living the life, or living the life, charging like crazy. Let me go file bankruptcy, discharge my debts, and move on and start over again. No. So anyway, now people are claiming that these consumers are claiming that there's a racially biased way that the insurance companies determine your insurance rates. And the thing about it is, it's not like something else. Well, I just won't have insurance. It's not like I won't buy that vehicle or I won't shop at that store. You got to have insurance. And all the big insurance companies, you have no choice. State Farm, Geico, Progressive, and Allstate are the ones who are using these factors. Ain't many left after that. They got the big. Those are the big four. So right now there's a lot of, you're going to hear about it. There's a lot of action and a lot of talk about the racial practices of these insurance companies as they determine rates and who pays what. But if you're going to go by the factors they're using now, yes, I can see it. If you're a lower income or a middle income person, you're paying more money. There's no doubt about it. So we'll see how that unfolds. But I thought that was interesting. And this is all, again, this is a result of what happened up in Minneapolis. This is the effect. I mean, it's amazing how that affected the insurance.
At that level. Yeah.
People are looking at everything right now. Okay, my insurance. How my insurance being determined?
Because that's to most people that's a big budget item. On your annual.
Very big a budget, especially if you've maybe had a credit problem, or you're not a dentist, an accountant, or an engineer, and so I mean those are the things that are all going on right now. So I just thought that was interesting. Everything's sort of related to everything else. You have a riot in Minneapolis, and and now they're talking about insurance rates. So anyway. We'll see how that unfolds, and I'm all for it because I'll tell you, I know the insurance companies. Accidents are way down right now. You say, there's a 10% reduction in traffic, but that results in a lot larger percentage of no accidents because the cars that are separated, don't whack into each other. So I mean, and I was talking to some people in the office, some younger people, some millennials, and I said, hey, did you get any money back from the insurance company? One guy got a check for $20. One got a check for $30. I mean, I don't know what kind of money I don't know how they're basing these refunds, but if you've got 50% less accidents, then it seems to me the rate should drop a lot more than $20 or $30. So, but insurance companies again control that. They're really a monopoly. I mean, I don't think they're not. Insurance companies are not under the control of the Sherman antitrust. My understanding that they don't have to account for being a monopoly. They are a monopoly. And they have a lot of political influence in Tallahassee, so they can set rates, basically. It's really a tough situation for the consumer because, as you know, homeowners rates go up. They're in a win-win situation. A storm comes through. They got to pay out a little bit of money. All they do is raise the rates next year and get it back from you. So
and then there's the fight they put up because sometimes it's unreasonable their fight. And they figure, I'm sure there's some statistic out there that says, well, if we fight at this level against a claim, then there's a percentage that they're just going to fold and not accept what we offer them. That's what we try to, make people aware that there are alternatives. There are, things like the fee shifting statute that levels the playing field so that you don't have to come out of pocket for a lawyer. That's kind of what we do here. We talk about that all the time on this show.
We're going to get into some other stuff when we get back.
We've got lines open for your calls at 855-765-1045. If you want to speak to our legal experts, now's the time. Lines are open. Again, 855-765-1045 as the Consumer Law Hour continues on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
If your future could talk, it would tell you that the moments that change fate are usually the moments you never saw coming. If your future could talk, it would...
I've got a caller on the line. He sounds a little maybe cognitively impaired, but he's got a question about whether or not he needs to be on his mom's insurance policy in order to drive her car.
You understood that the moments you...
Okay, I'll bring him up when we come back in this segment.
It's precious that time has to give. If your future could, it would tell you that how you react to adversity...
and then he hung up. Oh, well.
And what comes next is never just about you. If your future could talk, it would tell you that truth is power unless you decide not to use it. If your life has been changed by an injury that wasn't your fault, your future would tell you it's time to fight. I'm Eddie Farah. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
This is it. The final weekend of Diamonds Direct's largest, longest, and most lavish sale ever. Now through Sunday only. Get an extra 20% off store-wide. All fashion rings, all earrings, all pendants, all bracelets, thousands of engagement rings, plus a special collection of designer jewelry flown in just for this. Extra savings across the board. We're breaking all the rules. Nothing's held back. Best prices of the year, best values ever, but you must act now. This extraordinary event comes to an end Sunday at 6 p.m. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway. I'm Joe Padlow, and when I retired from the Marines in 2014, I started Veterans Elite Services, a cleaning company to employ military veterans. Our deep clean process includes an EPA-certified virus-side fogging system to disinfect at a deeper level. This year alone, we've protected over 750,000 square feet of commercial and residential buildings and medical and dental offices from COVID-19, SARS, and other viruses. Call me and I'll be pleased to tell you how we can do that for you. 904-468-3874, veteranseliteservices.com.
Over half of all men suffer from ED or PE. Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rubinsky. If you're not the man you used to be in the bedroom and Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call 904-217-5646. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. 904-217-5646.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's best vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Hi, my name is Connor. I live at the Rhoda Boys Ranch with about 50 other boys. We come to the ranch because we can't live at home or we just don't have one.
Rhoda Boys Ranch doesn't receive any government support for childcare and raises funds by auctioning off donated vehicles every month. If you have a boat, car, motorcycle, RV, truck, or tractor in any condition, Google Boys Ranch Palatka to donate. If you don't have a vehicle, cash donations are accepted. Google Boys Ranch Palatka.
Remember, it's better to build boys than to mend men.
As a woman, you've spent years taking care of everyone else. When you retire, it's finally your turn. And here's a little secret. Women and men have different needs and different emotions when it comes to retirement. What to do? Listen to Woman's Worth Radio each Sunday at 10 a.m. Woman's Worth founder Jeanette Bajalia believes your retirement isn't just about the money. It's about your total health. Woman's Worth Radio, Sundays at 10 a.m.
It's for us guys, too.
Listen to Woman's Worth Radio this Sunday at 10 a.m.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. Ready or not, Florida, here comes Hurricane Isaias.
By tonight, we're going to be seeing our first approach very close. Right around the Fort Lauderdale area will be its closest approach, and then get a little bit closer as we move in to the north of, say, West Palm, up towards Daytona Beach.
Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth. Democratic leaders meeting with Trump administration officials today to discuss the next coronavirus relief package. One GOP lawmaker says they're the ones holding things up.
It's pretty clear Democrats are willing to let the unemployed suffer for them to get their policy gains. Your reporter just said they are not willing to give unless they get policy. Their HEROES Act mentioned marijuana more than it mentioned jobs. Think about that.
Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy on Fox's Cavuto Live. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm Ariel Wysocki with the latest on Isaias. As of 11 o'clock this morning, a tropical storm watch has been issued from north of Ponte Vedra Beach to Altamaha Sound, Georgia. A tropical storm watch from the Volusia-Flagler County line to Ponte Vedra Beach has been...
Hey, fellas, we'll be back to the program after the weather hits and the traffic update.
Of the center Sunday and Sunday night, amounts ranging from 1 to 2 inches locally, more near the coast to a half inch or less west of I-95. A dangerous rip current risk is in effect at area beaches. The best advice is to stay out of the water this weekend. From 104.5 WOKV, I'm Ariel Wysocki.
Now,
The WOKV First Alert Forecast.
A 7 on the WOKV weather meter. Temperatures tonight will be dipping into the mid-70s under partly cloudy skies. Sunday will become breezy with increasing clouds and scattered showers and thunderstorms developing in the afternoon and into the overnight hours with a high of 90 degrees. We are tracking Isaiah Sunday night and through the day on Monday, where it will be breezy with morning showers and storms diminishing later in the day with a high of 93. High of 93 on Tuesday, a high of 92 on Wednesday with a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedgick for 104.5 WOKV.
Now, Safe Touch Security First Alert traffic.
Looks like traffic is picking up on Atlantic Boulevard just west of the East Beltway. So if you're in your Arlington area, use a little caution as you're making your way through that vicinity. Also seeing some pickup in Beach Boulevard's traffic as you're approaching the Intercoastal. And A1A looking like a busy place as people are out at the beaches today. As they just warned you, if you're headed to the beaches, be mindful of the rip currents. It's a dangerous situation to be swimming out in the water. With Jacksonville's most frequent traffic, I'm Scott Young for 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
This program is brought to you by Veterans Elite Services. The following hour was paid for by the host and does not reflect the opinion of 104.5 WOKV or Cox Media Group.
Jacksonville, we're back for the second half of the Consumer Law Hour. You're listening to 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. Our lines are open at 855-765-1045. Waiting for you if you want to talk to our legal experts, as we're talking about your opportunities of protection in the law against insurance in the event of claims of storm damages and other opportunities. The legal services of Farah and Farah could be available for you. Eddie Farah, Chuck Farah, our guests, as always, the legal experts taking care of you. Fellas, welcome back.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for that plug, by the way. I appreciate it. But, talking about protecting yourself, look at Florida. If you're a homeowner or a property owner or a homeowner, look at Florida Statute 768.075. That's a relatively new law in the books that gives you, if you're a property owner, total immunity from liability for mistakes that you made that results in the death or injury of a person who is attempting to commit a felony on your property. Let me give you an example. Somebody comes onto your property and they're trying to break into your garage, and which is a felony, and your dog attacks and kills that person. I'm giving you an extreme example. You have complete immunity from any liability because that person was attempting to commit a felony on the property. There was a case in Florida last year that I read about where there was an apartment complex that was being sued because of negligent security, because somebody came onto the apartment complex, they allowed somebody on the property, he ends up shooting and killing one of the residents at the apartment complex. Well, what they found out in the course of that case, that the person who got shot and killed was running sort of a chop shop out of the apartment complex. The shooting had nothing to do with the illegal business he was running. But because he was running an illegal business out of his apartment, the apartment complex had no liability for their negligence in preventing the shooter from coming onto the property. So that's a very powerful statute.
Wow, that's deep immunity.
That's really no immunity. I mean, complete.
Complete immunity.
It's not like, let's look at it again, or it's 50-50. No, you get a free ride if you are a property owner and somebody is hurt or killed on your property while they are trying or attempting to commit a felony. So, I mean, there are people, I've seen cases where people have booby traps in their front door, guns that go off, or different devices to protect their home. And let's say there's somebody coming into your house and, even by mistake, that person maybe is not a criminal. I mean, you've seen these cases where a person's not even trying to commit a criminal act. He thinks maybe he's in the wrong house, or he's trying to get into the wrong house thinking it's his house or his cousin's house. And God forbid something happens to that person, you have no liability, because he's attempting to commit a felony on the property. And so that's a very powerful statute, 768.075. So anyway.
That is.
Even if the person's on your property by mistake, that's the thing about it.
That's like a whole other interpretation of castle doctrine.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. Yeah, exactly. But this is really, even if people, Scott, I've seen cases where people think, hey, I'm going to my cousin's house, and maybe they're a little tipsy and they're trying to get into the wrong house, and something bad happens. They get shot by the homeowner or whatever. There's no liability for that. Even though that person was not intending to commit a felony, he was there on the property, he's trying to break into somebody's house. The homeowner's got a free ride when it comes to a lawsuit, to a civil lawsuit, money damages. Okay, anyway, talk about truck drivers now for a little bit, because as we know, well, if you don't know, but President Trump has loosened the requirements on driving trucks, and he's allowed truck drivers to drive longer, to have less sleep, and I never knew this, but truck drivers who work over 60 hours are not required to be paid overtime, so they're exempt from the overtime rules. So right now, truck drivers they're going to be on the road longer. I don't know what they think about that. We've had these discussions with truckers who call in all the time, but it's a fine line, because you want to make a living. Time is money, but now, and the laws were tightened up under President Obama.
Right.
Now they've been loosened up by President Trump, allowing drivers more flexibility in terms of them being on the road. But I'll tell you, the statistics show that you really need more truck drivers. That's part of the problem right now, is that there are 60,000 truck drivers needed right now to be on the road. 71% of all the freight in the country is hauled by truck. And the average age of a truck driver is 46. For all other workers, it's 42. The age of a new driver is 35 years old. And the reason why, everybody thought it's a glamorous way to make a living. There's nothing glamorous about it right now, the way it's set up. But the two reasons why there are not enough truckers, is that the low rate of pay and the time away from home. So times have changed, and people are looking at this job in a different perspective. So anyway, maybe that's why the president has loosened the restrictions, trying to allow them to make more money, be more loose with the times on the road. Hopefully, it doesn't result in more accidents.
You won't need as many drivers if you open up the hours that they can be on the road. So.
And with the modern interpretation of it, it gives a whole new appreciation of the term essential employee when we rely on them so heavily for transporting goods.
Yeah. If you look at the supply chains right now, they're having problems with them. I think part of that is not enough truck drivers. That's part of it. In addition to the COVID, there just aren't enough people around to drive the trucks. So I don't know what will happen. We'll see, about that. But we're talking about. I want to talk about. We talked about properties and property rights. I want to talk about criminal trespass, and because there was an interesting case here in Jacksonville. Criminal trespass. Trespass is, and we've talked about that before. Somebody's tree falls on your property. That's kind of a trespass. They're on your property, or somebody comes on your.
I think you're right. 'Cause it doesn't have to be a physical being onto property. It can be an object that you throw over into somebody's yard. That's a trespass.
Yeah,
so
but criminal trespass is a little different. You're dealing with people at that point,
right?
And with all these demonstrations, the guy that had his. Pulled the gun out of his front yard, and people. I don't know where that was in terms of a trespass, but let's say you've got people that are coming onto your property, people you don't want there. They don't have your permission to do that. There are two types of trespass, criminal trespass. There's a criminal trespass to a structure, and there's a criminal trespass to just raw land. That's a trespass. You got a big tract of land out in Live Oak somewhere, and somebody's on your property that you don't want to be there. That's a criminal trespass. And the thing about criminal trespass, if you're the trespasser, you don't have to know that you're on somebody else's property. It's not like I intend to walk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you don't have to have intent. If I walk onto somebody's property thinking that it's my property, that's still criminal trespass. I don't have to intend to break the law. So it's my obligation to know. I have the responsibility to know, to check to make sure I do have permission. Mm-hmm. So if somebody walks onto your property, and even though they claim they're on their property, and it's your property, that's a criminal trespass. And on posted land, if you've just got empty land, you've got to have, and if you drive out like I-10 or you get outside the city, on posted land, you have to have signs of no trespassing, no more than 500 feet apart, and you got to have them at each corner of the boundaries of the property, and you've got to have, and the sign must be no less than 2 inches high, and you got to state the owner of the property. I didn't know that. I don't see that typically, but the statute requires that you place the owner's name on the no trespassing sign. The penalties for trespassing, if you're on somebody's property, it's a second-degree misdemeanor, up to 60 days in jail. If somebody's in the structure when you trespass, that means like somebody's in the house or in the garage, then it's a first-degree misdemeanor up to a year in jail, and that's criminal trespass. So,
yeah,
the reason I bring that up, there was an interesting case that came out of Jacksonville. It happened at a gentleman's club here in town. So a guy's he's at the gentleman's club. I won't name which one. And he's having a drink. There's some commotion starting. He's upset about I think he's upset about the drink and they were trying to dilute it or something. So the owner of the club says, pay your ticket, pay your tab, and leave. He hangs around. He doesn't. He doesn't either. He hangs. So the owner calls the police. The police come in and say, pay your tab and then leave. Just like the owner said. He doesn't do it. So they arrest him for trespass because he's still in the bar. So anyway, what happened is that the judge threw the case out because there was an implied invitation to stay on the property until he paid the bill. Stay until you pay the bill.
Right.
What he should have said, there is no time frame. Get off the property. Then he would have had him.
Yeah.
But the court, the judge in Duval County ended up throwing the case out because there was no time frame within which he had to pay the bill and leave the club.
That was a good decision. We deal with that defense on the civil side too when people are injured on someone's premises and they try to claim trespass. You argue the counter to that argument is there's an implied consent to be for the person to be on the property. Right. I mean, people like postmen, you would think, they're trespassing. No, well, you've given them consent to come on by accepting mail and having an address that receives mail. You've accepted them to come onto your property.
Yeah. So if you're going to try to get somebody off your property, if you have a trespasser, you can't say, well, finish what you're doing and leave, or you've got to get them off right now.
Yeah.
He's
immediately a trespasser. Yeah. There's no time frame while he's on there.
Yeah, you can't you give him a window of opportunity. You give a condition to the trespass, like they did at this gentleman's club, you're going to lose that. You're going to dismiss that case. So you can't give him a time frame. You got to say, get off the property right this second.
Sure.
Right now. Do not wait. Do not pass go. Leave the property. And not pick up your bags or clean up.
And have a witness too.
Yeah. So anyway, but trespass is a criminal statute, and again, it's a misdemeanor, but people can go to jail for that. I mean, I think they've arrested people during some of these riots. I'm sure people have been arrested for trespass.
Oh yeah,
trespassing on people's property. Even if they thought they weren't on their property, again, you do not have to have intent to trespass. You're on somebody's property without their permission. It's a trespass, whether you know it's their property or not.
Now, speaking about the possible circumstances of that with the riots, how does that apply towards public property, such as sidewalks, streets, and things of that nature?
Well, that's different. That's state-owned. That's a different. I mean, that's not trespassing unless there's a barricade, unless there's some legal reason why they've got it blockaded off. But if you're demonstrating and you're on somebody's property, their business property, even if you think you're on city property, I made a mistake. I didn't know I was on private property. Too bad. You can still be convicted of trespass. So. Yeah,
so there you go, social nonconformist. There's your tip of the day.
Yeah, keep you out of jail. That's one way to stay out of jail. Okay.
Yeah, one
or
on the list.
Hopefully the owner will give you a condition like clean up your mess, then leave. That's your way out.
Yeah, you can prompt him. Hey, do you want me to clean up my mess before?
Yeah.
If he says yes, all right.
We'll be back with the final segment of the Consumer Law Hour after another quick break on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
If news is your thing, you're in the right place. Local, national, breaking, all in the palm of your hand. Download the WOKV app and tap the newsfeed button. We've got you covered. 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
If your pain had a voice, it would have a lot to say. In fact, if you've recently been in a serious car accident, your pain is talking to you right now. It might even be screaming in your ear. And after 30 years as a personal injury attorney, I can tell you that pain doesn't lie, and it will absolutely ruin your life. You better get used to me, pain would say, because I'm going to be around for a while, maybe for the rest of your life. Doctors and x-rays may not be able to see your pain, and for some reason, insurance companies never believe in your pain. But we hear it. We know that the pain resulting from a soft tissue injury is real. So if you're hurt, call us. We'll make sure those responsible for your pain are listening. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979.
Call us at 396-5555, Jacksonville.
We invite you to listen Saturday at 3 p.m. for a special edition of the Marketing Advisor Show. We start Northeast Florida, bringing business back from COVID-19. Businesses must do everything they can to keep up. This special show will talk about how to grow and build your business through digital marketing right now as we build back. If you need help restarting your business, call Mark Chaplin at 245-8878. That's 245-8878. And please listen Saturday at 3 p.m. to Restart Northeast Florida, bringing business back from COVID-19 on 104.5 WOKV.
I'm Joe Padlow, and when I retired from the Marines in 2014, I started Veterans Elite Services, a cleaning company to employ military veterans. Our deep clean process includes an EPA-certified virus-side fogging system to disinfect at a deeper level. This year alone, we've protected over 750,000 square feet of commercial and residential buildings and medical and dental offices from COVID-19, SARS, and other viruses. Call me and I'll be pleased to tell you how we can do that for you. 904-468-3874, veteranseliteservices.com.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-217-5646. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-217-5646. That's 904-217-5646.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
A 7 on the WOKV weather meter, partly cloudy and muggy tonight with a temperature of 75 degrees. For your Sunday, increasing the clouds and becoming breezy with scattered showers and thunderstorms, developing in the afternoon and into the night hours with a high of 90 degrees. Tracking Isaias Sunday night and through the day on Monday, it will be windy with morning showers and thunderstorms diminishing later in the day with a high of 93, and 92 on Wednesday with partly sunny skies and a few afternoon thunderstorms. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedgic for 104.5 WOKV.
Wow, rest in peace, Herman Cain. What a great guy. What a great radio host.
I was never a talk news radio person until I started listening to Herman Cain.
Somewhere in the show, he would always say, write that down, Shaney B. And I always wondered, who the heck is Shaney B?
My name ID 99.9.
WOKV's Herman Cain. He will rest in peace and not be forgotten.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Jacksonville, we're back for the final segment of the Consumer Law Hour on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk station. Lines are open at 855-765-1045 if you want to get on with our legal experts. Eddie Farah and Chuck Farah from the law firm of Farah and Farah waiting to take your call. Fellas, back to it.
Back at it, Scott. Out in Nocatee, if you've been out there, everybody's got a golf cart, and you see them everywhere. These high-speed golf carts. They're not like the ones you see on the golf course. Florida, if it's over 20 miles an hour, it's considered a low speed vehicle, and you've got to have insurance coverage on it. If it's under 20 miles an hour, you're probably covered by your homeowner's insurance, so you don't have to go out and purchase auto insurance or vehicle insurance. But if it's over 20, you need to find out, talk to your agent, your insurance agent, and tell them you have a golf cart that goes over 20 miles an hour. Make sure you're covered on that, because if something happens, you may not have any protection. There's a lot of them going out, and there's been a lot of accidents out there with the golf carts.
Well, they've got to be street legal too. There are a lot of requirements on.
Yeah, they got that brake. Yeah,
horns and
lights
and.
No, you're right. But
cool motors, pinstripes, some fiery flames on the side,
and insurance. But
a horn that plays auga.
Yeah, I've heard those. Okay, well, some calls we get I don't know if we have time to get into it. We always receive phone calls from people at the office about what they should do. They've got somebody out doing some work on their home, and they're concerned about what kind of liability if that person gets hurt on the property. Let's say they hire a tree trimmer or a roofer or somebody come do work out there, and it's maybe they're on the roof, maybe they're up in a tree and they're chopping down some limbs, or maybe they just hire somebody off the street to come do some work on the property, and they're getting paid by the homeowner, and the homeowner wants to know, what are my responsibilities? Well, typically in that situation, if the person that's doing the work on your property is an independent contractor, you really don't have, you do have some responsibility. If there are some hidden dangers, typically you don't have any responsibility. If that independent contractor, like a plumber or electrician, comes onto the property and gets hurt, you don't have any responsibility or any liability for that. Now, there can be situations where independent contractors can sue you. It's when you have a hidden danger on the property that you know about and you don't tell them about. I'll give you an example. You've got a roofer. Maybe you've got a hole in the roof that's, hidden. You know about it, and you send the independent contractor roofing company up there to do some work, and he falls through the roof. You're going to probably face some liability in that situation because it was a hidden danger that you knew about and you did not warn him about it. But typically, when you don't control how the work is being done, and that's the operative word, control. As long as you don't control, if you don't tell the tree trimmer how to go do his job, he's an independent contractor and you don't have responsibility. As long as you don't tell the plumber or the electrician or the yard guy how to do his job, you don't have any responsibility for what happens on your property. I mean, some homeowners have even gotten the people to sign letters. I am an independent contractor. Yeah. That means nothing. They still try.
It's the facts on what happened.
Facts. Yeah. Can I protect myself by having the electrician or the yard guy sign a document stating he's an independent contractor? That's not going to do it. It's about the acts. Like Chuck said, it's the actions. It's the facts on the ground. If you're controlling the work being done and something goes wrong, you're exposing yourself to liability in that situation.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah. So
thank you, Detective Friday.
And with that, I mean, I know for next week, talking about independent contractors, I really want to get in to what happened, between, and this is next week, we're not going to have time now, between Hulk Hogan and Jesse the Body Ventura, when Jesse the Body was trying to, because these wrestlers were all considered, Scott, independent contractors.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
they're required to maintain all kinds of independent insurance policies, healthcare policies, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but the problem is a lot of people they worked for the same promoter, it's the same company, WWF. They worked for the WWF. They were told when to be at work. Independent contractors, it's like you're an independent contractor because nobody's controlling your work product. They're saying, okay, go out and trim that tree, and you trim it, the way you want to do it, when you want to do it, basically. But when a person starts trying to control your labor, your actions on the job, even if they call you an independent contractor, you're probably an employee. And that happens a lot where employers get sued by the employees because they're saying, I'm not an independent contractor, I'm an employee, I want the benefits of an employee. And that's what Jesse the Body was trying to do. He was trying to organize all the wrestlers, say, listen, guys, we're not independent contractors. We're employees. They tell us when to fight, how to fight, when to show up, what to do,
what to wear.
Oh yeah, what to wear and everything else.
What to say.
But the problem that Hulk Hogan, and Jesse the Body was getting ready to get this thing organized. He was getting ready to bring the federal union guys in to organize a union. Hulk Hogan goes and rats out Jesse the Body to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon calls Hulk Hogan on the phone and says, if you do this, you're gone.
Well, speaking of other things that are long gone, it's been a fun hour, but the hour's wrapped for us today. Happy that you guys have got a great studio facility that we can do a much better sounding quality show, and looking forward to talking to you again next year. Happy to have you guys back with us and doing some more fresh and frequent programming as the Consumer Law Hour continues on Jacksonville's 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's news and talk station.